We're going to do chapter 25 homework here for the Mounce textbook. So you should have your workbooks open. Go ahead and get your textbooks out and open to chapter 25 also, because it just might be useful for us from time to time to reference something that Mounce has said in his book. It's not a bad idea to have that ready in case we need to take a look at something there. Okay? So, any questions on the parsing here? We have a handful of parsing questions that we might want to go through. So, questions you have?
We already talked about it a little bit. Can we just go over number 8 again?
Yeah. Yeah. Did we actually go over any of these the other day?
Whenever we no, but we talked about.
You inadvertently went over this exact.
Oh, okay.
We talked about the second perfects.
All right. Yeah, let's look at that. All right. So number 8, we have ake ka'amen. So there's our form here. And I guess the easiest thing is to look at the end and see if there's anything identifiable here that we could look at and identify. Which person in number is men?
First plural.
Yeah, that's clearly first person plural. So we've got that, right? Now the next question is it an active or middle passive kind of first person plural ending? It's, what's that? Yeah, it's active, right? So now there's only one place where it might not be active. And the aorist passive. Remember, the aorist passive is that naughty tense. But we'll assume active here for now. And then we're going to ask ourselves, and indicative, of course, and we're going to ask ourselves, which tense is it? Because if it ends up being aorist passive or looking aorist passive, then we're going to have to retool this. Now, I have ake ka'amen here. So you see the alpha here. That could be indicative of a perfect, which is normally kappa alpha, but if it's a second perfect, it's just alpha, okay? And what you're going to have to know is there any verb form whose perfect active looks like this monstrosity over here, okay? We have ak, which might make you think of akuo. And if it doesn't, then maybe from now on you will think of akuo. Yeah, ak. There was a character named Bill the Cat in some cartoon. I forget which cartoon it was. You guys ever remember seeing Bill the Cat? That's Bill the Cat right there. Okay, so ak. That's what Bill the Cat says when he's joking. Ak. No, so anyhow, this is a perfect. So, and in fact, it's a second perfect active indicative. Now, that doesn't look a lot like akuo, but perhaps it's enough like akuo. You see the alpha, the kappa, and the omicron of akuo here. And this is just one of those principal parts you got to learn with this verb. It's pretty regular in the other principal parts. This one's not very friendly when it becomes second perfect active. Okay? Now, if it's first person plural, the subject is we, and then translating it as a perfect, we can use our present perfect in English. We have akuoed, which is we have heard. All right, so that's what we want to do with this puppy or kitten. Any other questions?
That'll help me remember it.
Yeah.
I forgot the cat's name, but I remember the picture.
There you go.
Number 3.
Number 3.
I got like all the parsing and stuff right, except for the inflected meaning. I put you have given birth to instead of you have been born. How did that work?
Okay, yeah, good question. So you parse this using the psi ending as the second singular, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so the question here is the psi active or middle passive?
Middle passive.
It's middle passive.
Oh, okay.
And so that translation is using the passive meaning of the middle passive possibility. So you have been born, right? If it were the active, it would be you have born or given birth, right? And I don't know if this ever occurs as a purely middle form, but if it's middle, then the you is still giving birth, but there's some middle notion involved with it. Okay, but that's the deal there. So good. Other questions? All right. We can go to the warm-ups unless you want to look at any more parsing. I've devoted the whole day to this, so it's not like we have to go zipping through the first part unless you really are done. Okay, well, let's take a quick look at number 1 here just for fun then. I have agapeka. Say that with me, agapeka. Now, do you see anything identifiable here on the front side of this that makes you think of either a verb, a prefix of some sort that you see attached to verbs, or anything else? It looks like agapao, doesn't it? Let's consider that as a working hypothesis, agapao. Now, if it's agapao, what would the eta be?
It would be
Yeah, it's a lengthen alpha if this is agapao, which means it could be one of two things. What? Augment or reduplication, which means I have 3 tense possibilities. If it's an augment, it could be what? Which tense? Okay, it could be aorist or imperfect. If it's a reduplication, or perfect. Okay, so aorist, imperfect for augments, perfect for reduplications. Now, looking at the back side of this, I have ka. Now, with that eta and the ka together, what would that make you do with identifying the lengthening? Yeah, I'm going to go with reduplication because that's looking very perfect, isn't it? And which voice in the perfect formation is the ka?
Voice.
Yeah, the voice. Is it active or middle passive? It's active, right? Because in the perfect, what middle passive, tense formative, or morpheme do we have? We have none. It's 0 for middle passive perfect, right? So we can go ahead and consider this active, indicative, and perfect. So we've got more than half of our parsing done. What person and number is a kappa alpha with nothing at the end? Yeah, that's first singular. Okay? So now we just have to translate it. But let me just do one more thing. The real the stem here is agapa, but I have agape before the ka. That eta. Why has my alpha contract vowel become an eta here? Yeah, before the tense formatives. What do we always do to contract vowels? We lengthen them. Yes, sir. So how will I translate this? I have loved.
So dramatic.
Good. I have loved. All right. Now, looking over at let's look at number 6 here. I have egnokon. Egnokon. What do you think my lexical form is for egnokon? Genosko? Genosko? Did anybody think it might have been genomai? Well, there's a gamma and a nu in genomai, isn't there? Yeah? So why didn't you go with genomai? Okay, so gamma epsilon nu. What's that? Or the iota nu, right? And here I have a kappa alpha plus an epsilon here. The epsilon looks like an augment, doesn't it? Does the kappa alpha help me know whether or not that's an augment?
yes.
Yeah, this is going to tell me this is perfect, right? Now, what's the new ending going to be on the perfect if it's, again, kappa alpha is active, so what's that going to do? That's third plural, okay? And right now, everything's indicative until next chapter. All right, so third person plural. So, genosko. Does anybody remember what the perfect active indicative of genomai is if it's not egnoka? What is genomai's perfect? It's gegana. You guys remember gegana? What kind of a perfect is gegona if it's the perfect of genomai? It's a second perfect. And even though genomai uses middle-only forms in the in the perfect, it can actually use the active forms. Okay? because that's not a middle passive ending at all. All right, so genomai, I become. Gegona, I have become. All right, but I just want you to see the difference between genomai's perfect, gegona, and genosko's perfect, which is egnoka. All right? You can hopefully remember the sound of gno should remind you of the English word for no, which is K-N-O-W, right? You have a velar, a nasal, and an O. Gno, kano. All right, great. Anything else come to your mind as we've looked at these you want to review? If not, I'm going to have to get rid of my cat here. Cat hair, cat here. So beta warm-up question.
Yeah, I could not figure out what the word
Mm-hmm. Orakin.
I don't remember that word.
Okay. Yeah, let's look at that for a moment. Before we get to it, can you help me with theon? What case is theon? That's accusative. You know that because of the new there, right? So should I take theon as the subject or direct object?
Direct object.
Yeah, for now I'm going to assume it's direct object, unless there's a preposition involved, of which there are none here. So probably direct object. Oudeis. What case is oudeis? Nominative. What declension pattern does oudeis follow? Third. What's the lexical form for the number 1? Not ace. That's the preposition that means in or into. It's rough. Haste. So haste, mia, hen. Okay? And this is ude in front of haste, mia, hen. So you see that nominative singular form. Okay, so no one verbed theon is the idea. We have direct object first, subject. Okay, who knows which verb this is? Okay, horao. How did you know that? What's that? Mounce told you. Okay. Does this look like horao? Do you see any similarities? Yeah, we have the rho and the alpha of hora, the stem, don't we? What about the omicron? Do you see anything omicronic about this? I just made up that word, by the way. Yeah, the omega is a lengthened omicron here. Okay, and then what's this? Yeah, this is actually a part of reduplication. So here's the dirty little secret. There's this consonant called digamma that used to exist in the Greek language, and the real root of this word was not just hora, but it was wara with the digamma in front, and it was the digamma that reduplicated and fell out, and so the epsilon here is actually the epsilon that normally goes between the reduplicated consonants, and so then you get this rough breathing. So it's a rather complicated thing, but at least the elements, or the vowel elements in the row, are still visible here. Okay. And of course, the kappa alpha has become kappa epsilon because it's third singular in the perfect. Okay? So this is perfect, active, indicative, third singular. Why is it third singular? Because oudeis is no one, right? That's a third person singular form. So how would I translate this? No one has seen God. No one has seen God. Okay? So if you're wondering, hey, which principal part should I memorize? This is certainly one, because even though you might now be able to reason backwards to the root, it still looks different enough that you'll want to commit it to memory. Lord willing, you guys will get to read 1 John someday, And in 1 John, this verb occurs a number of times, especially at the very beginning of the book. All right, other questions? Delta? Okay, let's read delta together. Ready? All right, we'll do it in unison, okay? Ego eis tuta gegenemai kai eis tuta elelutha. All righty. So, how did you translate the first part of this?
I have been born, but that's not what Mounce got. That's what my question was. He got for this purpose I have been born.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so.
I'm not sure. Idiom.
Right. It's not really an idiom. It's just a little difficult to know exactly what the tuta refers to when you don't have any context, okay? But think about this. Ace, how have you normally translated ace? To or into, right? It might be advisable to expand your lexical range for this preposition to have other possibilities. So unto is another way to render an ace preposition, or for, okay? And this is missing a noun, okay? So tuta could be not a relative, a demonstrative adjective, or when there's no noun that it accompanies, then it functions as a demonstrative pronoun. But the referent of it is unstated, like because it's a pronoun, right? Pronouns are replacements for nouns, and they stand for something else. For this what? Well, that's where Mounce gets something like for this purpose, or for this reason, okay? So for this, I was born, meaning for this reason or purpose, I was born. And eis tuta, and for this reason or purpose, elelutha. And what's that mean? I have come. I have come. What is the lexical form of elelutha? It's erkamai. Do these two share the same root? They do not. So the present uses one root, the erk root. Which other verb form uses the same root as elelutha? The future does. It's elusamai. The aorist is Etholon, and now we have elelutha. Okay? All of these are using the real root, which is what? The real root of the first one is Eric, but of these three, it's eluth. Eluth. Okay? So do you see?
So he just let tuta become purpose, like rather just this.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Okay.
Yes.
I didn't know if it was into this, like into this side of it.
Right. Yeah, like I was born into this,
Yeah.
pair of hands. The doctor caught me. Yeah. So right. So the ace could have this notion of purpose. Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
Okay. Good. Other questions on these warm-up exercises? So looking at alpha here.
Yeah. So it's he has believed, but I thought he had faith. Does that make it wrong?
No, not necessarily.
Okay.
So to believe or to have faith or to exercise faith are ways to render this verb. Mm-hmm.
Making sure.
Yeah. So he has believed in the name. Yeah. Pistis could be, the noun could be translated as belief or faith, right? Any other questions that have to do with Greek? Look at epsilon real quickly. We have bebletai here. Bebletai. What's the lexical form of bebletai?
Follow.
You're sure it's not blepo?
I thought it was Blippo.
You thought it was blepo, yeah? These are situations where sometimes the root letters of a couple of verbs are similar enough that they can be confused. So blepo is one that some think of, and balo is the other. Now, just looking at balo and blepo here, which one of these shares more similarities to the form we have?
Follow.
Yeah, we have a beta lambda in balo. We have a beta lambda p in blepo, and here we just have beta lambda. So this is more like balo, and in fact it is balo's perfect stem. Now with the tie ending, is it active or middle passive? Middle passive. So third singular here. So how would I translate this? He has. Yes, let's make it passive in meaning. He has been thrown. And eistain thalasan into the sea.
What if we had said into the lake with us?
Yeah. I think lake is okay too.
So question on that. If it was he has been seen, what would it look like with blepo?
Okay. So he has been seen. Let's see. What is the perfect middle passive form of blepo?
But you know it would still have the P in it.
Yeah, the P would show up either as the P or it would assimilate in some way, and there'd be an additional consonant if it were made perfect in middle passive. But we don't have any attested uses of it in the New Testament. All right. Are there any other warm-up questions, or shall we go on to the translations? All right, let's go. Let's do this. All right. Which questions among the translation exercises shall we do?
On number 5, another just small little thing on sozo. I use saved instead of healed.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't remember sozo being able to be used as healed. Does that make it is that big enough to actually change the meaning?
Yeah, well, so sozo does have a wider semantic range than what we might imagine. So this is particularly used in Luke's gospel for healing and in the book of Acts. But it's interesting because I think that that there are situations where Jesus or the apostles perform a healing. It's described as sozo, but that healing is an object lesson for the kind of deliverance or restoration that the Messiah brings for people and for the world. So it's well, if I can put it this way, it's almost a pregnant term there. But save or heal or deliver are ways to render this verb depending on its context.
So it'd be good if I put saved.
Mm-hmm.
Faith is safety.
Yes, at least in isolation. But here then you have, and the woman was,
I put saved.
right, saved from the aura that, right, from that aura. I'm thinking Spanish, hora, from that hour. But if you go back and look at the context where he tells you where the passage is, it has to do with the performance of a healing there. All right. Anything else?
I have a question about
Number
number 6.
6, yes.
So I was really confused about this one, and I thought I was trying to figure out how to put he prefers the one who believes in this, because I was confused. How do we know that the not goes to the he does not judge rather than the second his due?
Okay.
So it looks like it goes right with one who believes the second time that it says it, but how do we know that it actually goes to Trinity?
Okay. Yeah, let's take a look at this real quickly. So ha pisteuon is one who believes, and you can also translate this as he who believes, okay? This is a participle. We're going to learn these in the very next set of chapters. So he who believes in him, okay, all of this together forms one large constituent that is the subject of the verb. Okay? So he who, or the one who believes in him, what about that one? Well, this is the verb, ukrenetai, right? And how would we translate that? Is not judged. Now, I have ha de me pistuon. Here my day is my postpositive conjunction. So really, it's to be read as introducing the new clause, and it's ha me pistuon, which is identical to ha pistuon, except the me does what to it? It negates the participle. So it's the one who does not believe, or he who does not believe. And then I have ede kekritai, which is almost the same structure as this, except I don't have a negation, and instead I have a different adverb that means what? Already. Isn't that what ede means? Already kekritai. And this is not present like krenetai was, but rather reduplicated, perfect, and passive. Already has been judged. All right? So now, is this second one the one you're having questions about?
No, I didn't realize where the first time it says is not judged. I didn't know that was a negation.
Oh, right. Yes. So this negation then introduces a different kind of person, right? So we have the one who does believe, and this is what's true about him. And then as far as the one who doesn't believe, this is what's true about him.
Yeah, I was just confused where it says is not judged because I didn't know where the not was coming.
Oh, okay. In the first part? Yeah, there's the negation. That's the negative particle, oo, with a smooth breathing, not to be confused with who, which is a genitive relative pronoun, of whom. Okay, in case anybody is tempted to get confused there. But yeah, this is just not. So it's interesting, isn't it? The one who does believe, the negation has to do with the verb that isn't judged. And then for the one who is doing the negation of the right thing, the one who doesn't believe, then the verb is not negated. He has been judged already. And I guess I could ask lastly, what kind of hati is this? Is this the kind that means that? Or is this the kind of hati that is causal, indicating the reason for something?
She's a hottie because.
That's right. So this is because. All right. Other questions? We have 6 minutes, so we can do maybe 2 more, 3? Usually someone asks me about number 7 when we go through this homework. Was 7 hard or easy? Not too bad? Is there a verb in here? Gegona? Which lexical form is this from? Genomai. So what's gegona? I have become. That's right. It's first singular. I have become. I have become what? All things. Which form of pas is this? It's accusative plural and neuter. What else could it be? Yes. Okay, it could be accusative plural neuter or nominative plural neuter. And there's one other thing it could be. Okay, it could be accusative singular and masculine. All right. Now, can we go with accusative anything at this point? We can?
Yes, because our verb is first person, so it couldn't be nominative.
So the verb is first person, but what's the meaning of the verb genomai? To be or become. Is that a transitive verb that can take a direct object? No, this is what's called a linking verb or a copular verb. When we have copular verbs, the subject is what case? Nominative. And then the thing that the subject is or becomes is what case? It's nominative. We use what are called predicate nominatives for those. So among my possibilities, the only one that's nominative is what? Nominative, plural, neuter. Okay? And so this is, I have become all things. Not all things have become because the subject is first singular, as you pointed out. So this has to be what I've become. So I've become all things. And then tois passen means what? Yeah, to all. And what gender could passen be? Could be masculine or neuter and dative plural. Okay? So probably in the context, he's talking about people and gaining some, winning some over to Christ. And so we would go with masculine for our options, even though neuter is theoretically possible. So I have become all things to or for all people, all men. Okay?
The little footnote told us, which is helpful.
Yes. That was cheating.
It's not cheating.
No, I'm just kidding. Okay, any other questions? Any final ones? We have 2 minutes.
Number 9. Are we alright just transliterating the name?
For Elijah?
Yes.
Yeah, I suppose so. But that is how you would see Elijah in Greek in the New Testament. Okay. Anything else?
Bless you. Bless you.
So for number 9, the word Etholon. Yeah, what is that word?
It's a version of Erchomai.
No? Good guess.
I was looking somewhere else.
It's from the verb thelo. What's thelo? Yes, I wish, will, desire. Okay? Yeah, your augment should just be an epsilon, but this is a strange case where we get an eta for our augment here. So that's one of the ones where learning principal parts. This is one worth noting. So they wished or they desired, and here he's talking about people doing to Elijah whatever they wished. Okay, to wish or to desire something, by the way, is more of a stative idea. It has to do with someone's internal disposition, and this is an imperfect verb, but I would not want to use an ing form for this, which is how frequently you're taught to translate the imperfect, past and progressive. Isn't that what Mounce tells you? So they did to him whatever they were willing, or whatever they were wishing, which sounds funny. Just say whatever they desired, okay, or whatever they willed. All right, well, let's stop there.